The end game to the DLC in Isle of Armor is trash, okay? Like, I tried to do the Diglett quests. I tried to make guides for the Diglett quest, and I got partway done. I really did. There's still more Digletts. There's even more Digletts I got that I have partially done videos for that I didn't upload. Why did I stop? What was the big reason I stopped? Well, people data mined the Diglett rewards all the way. You get a Meowth at 5, alolan Meowth. You get a regular Slowpoke, alolan Vulpix, alolan Sandshrew, alolan Raichu, alolan Marowak, alolan Executor. You get between a Rowlet, a Litten, on a Poplio, and then if you get all of them, you get a Diglett. The Diglett, I saw it, I'm like, you know what? This is a joke. That could have literally been an outfit. I would have been happier with it. But these are all Pokemon that you can transfer over. You can get through home. These are Pokemon you can trade for easily in home. Like, there's nothing of value here. This is literally 150 Digletts to say you did 150 Digletts, which is really sad. And unlike a main game where you might have bought a physical copy and you aren't going to have access to the internet to do the things on home, that isn't the case. This is a DLC. You had to download it, which, to add in there, the fact that you can't use a global trading center in Pokemon Sword and Shield is garbage. But then I'm like, you know what? The dojo, right? I see the dojo and I'm like, maybe that is something. Maybe there's something neat in the dojo when you get to the end. Cool. So what I did is I looked up what the dojo rewards were. Now, I don't even have to work for the dojo rewards, okay? I have a switch up game enhancer I use so I don't have to use Joy-Cons because of the drift issue. I just don't have to deal with Joy-Cons in case my Joy-Cons drift. And it will automatically farm watts for me if I so choose. So I look at the top rewards. Well, top 3 rewards. 800,000 watts. You get a league card for Honey. Who cares about Honey's league card? She'll battle you for 1,000,000 watts. I don't care. 3,280,000 watts. Here's an upgraded league card. Garbage. It's garbage. It's sad to say, but the DLC from start to finish, all of the filler is trash. It's bad. So for me, I'm pretty excited to play the Path of Exile League. That is going to be so much better DLC from a game developer. It's going to be free. They do it every 3 months. This took 8 months. This is 8 months after release, and there was nothing of substance here. But I'm supposed to believe that whatever comes out of the next DLC will be worth the $25 that this DLC wasn't worth. This DLC, other than, ooh, look, we added an island, and look, you can free roam around it. Other than this, if you want to call it pretty, because do we really want to call these graphics pretty? Especially once you've seen Pokemon Snap's appearance. This game, the added content is the level that you would see in like a free update for any other developer. And Game Freak gets a pass, okay? Game Freak gets a pass because they're Game Freak and they always do. This is just terrible, but it's their first DLC. They chose to make their first DLC absolute garbage. They chose to make it paid DLC. They chose to make it so if you have Sword and Shield, you get to pay $60 to have access on your games. They decided it was smart to create these 2 towers, and for story reasons, you could only get one Urshifu. No. Everyone just made a second character, transferred Pokemon using Pokemon Home, and got the other Urshifu, and they did it to pad out the hours. It's just like the Digletts. Is there a big payoff for the Digletts? Nope, but here's how you pad out the hours. Oh, is there a big reward for using all those watts and completely filling the dojo? No, but it'll pad out the hours. This DLC is worth like 3 to 4 hours of your time before there's really nothing left to do. Okay, it's bad. You can go and look. The more you look into it, the less substance there is. And if you go and look up reviews, I'm not the only one disliking it at all. So many non-Pokemon YouTubers are just like, oh, I guess that's it. Oh, there goes my money. Like, it's just such a little bubble that enjoys this. It's such a little bubble that's actually going, wow, this is really good. It's a bubble, and it's the same people that are letting these games get worse every release. Every release, these games, for the mainline Pokemon, are less what the fans want, and they get praised for it, and it's going to kill the series. I think this series might end up not surviving or having to do a Hail Mary where it's simply given to Game Freak. But whoever thought that adding these little hairs with a main reward was going to be a Diglett and thought that was a good model to use and thought that was engaging shouldn't be in charge of anything to do with the game. The whole thing with having collectibles like this in a game is to have something worthwhile out of it at the end, unless they're collecting for collecting's sake, which is not worth doing. If you're like, well, you know, you catch all the Pokemon just to catch them all. No, you do that for the Shiny Charm, Mark Charm. You know that's why people do it. They had to add an incentive because gotta catch them all is a slogan. It's not a reason to play a game. And we now catch 150 Digletts to get a hold of a Diglett that you could just transfer over. No special moves, no nothing. Sure, it has, I believe, perfect IVs on the actual Diglett. How many people are actually running a Diglett that they need perfect IVs for? Like, we're looking at the next DLC, and there's already data mines, okay? We already have data mines. Now, they can be changed, but there's already some data mines. And the data mines are showing that the game is about the same size, like physically, as this one. But there's going to be a few new legendaries. But really, like, the preliminary leaks are making it look like what might have been acceptable for Isle of Armor if that DLC was the same size, but Isle of Armor is barely worth $5, so the next DLC has to have 5 times the content, and I highly doubt it does. I think the entire next DLC is going to be about that legendary hunting dens, and I think that they're going to go, that's the $25 worth of content. And the rest of it's just going to be a stupid story you finish in 2 hours. And then maybe we'll go, I don't know, collect a bunch of Meowths that are hiding or something. And then you'll get a Meowth at the end and they'll say, that's your $30, suckers. See you next time around. Every release, every single release gets worse. The more you look into it, the more shallow it is. The new Pokemon we got is Kubfu and Urshifu. We got the Galarian Slowpoke and the Galarian Slowbro. That is all the content, at the end of the day, that matters in Isle of Armor. We received a new Slowpoke evolution line, and we got a hold of Kubfu, which annoyingly requires you to make a second character to get a hold of 2 Urshifus. Is that worth $15? No. Is that worth $5? The more I think about it, I struggle to say it is. I really do think this DLC is probably more worth like $3. It's just bad. And the farther it goes on, the worse it is. And I would not be surprised in the least if we're getting Pokemon news next week. That is going to be a, quote, free update to this DLC. Something they didn't have done in time and they're finishing up because they know this DLC is not worth doing.